Hello everyone. Welcome to Sam's Summaries. This episode is a deep dive discussion into Sam Fury's summary of the book, The Copywriter's Handbook by Robert Bly. It has been created with the help of AI. You can read the original summary at samfury.com.
All right, so welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
And this time, we've got The Copywriter's Handbook by Robert Bly.
Right.
And let me tell you, this book is jam-packed with strategies to make your writing, well, just better, more persuasive.
Yeah.
It's like having a cheat sheet for better communication, really, no matter what you're working on.
Absolutely. And I think, one of the things that Bly does so well in this book is that he doesn't just make it for marketing gurus or people that are really into advertising.
Right.
These principles apply whether you're writing an email, whether you're putting together a presentation, whether you're just trying to write a social media post.
Right.
If you need to get your point across clearly and convincingly, this book is for you.
I love that. That's so true. And, he comes right out the gate and just says the core purpose of copywriting is selling, right?
Yes.
But it's not about being like Shakespeare. It's about results.
Right.
And so what I really appreciated was this emphasis on a data-driven approach.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one of the most fascinating things about this book is how he really encourages you to treat your writing as almost like a science experiment, where you have a hypothesis, let's say a specific headline will be more effective,
Right.
and then you test it.
Yeah.
You gather data, you see if you're right, and this constant testing and refining is so key to making sure that your writing actually achieves its goal.
That's such a good point, because it's not about what sounds good to you.
Exactly.
It's about what actually convinces people to take action, to do the thing.
Yes.
Speaking of grabbing attention, let's talk headlines.
Okay.
Bly has a whole section on this, and he dives into these specific formulas that work, like promising a benefit or posing a question. Because imagine you're scrolling through, I don't know, a sea of information online.
Right.
Your headline is what makes people stop and pay attention.
Well, and he really stresses the importance of prioritizing sales over cleverness. And I think I remember one campaign that I was working on where we had this super witty headline and it completely flopped. Like we thought it was so clever and so witty, but it just didn't get any results.
Oh.
We switched it to just a straightforward, benefit-driven headline, and the results were night and day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in trying to be, I don't know, like the next Hemingway or something.
But right.
But really, your writing has a job to do. Bly also talks about the importance of clear communication in general, right? Like short sentences,
Yes.
simple words,
Yes.
conversational tone. It's like you're just talking to a friend.
That resonates with me because I think we live in a world of information overload.
Yeah.
People are bombarded with messages all day long. They have such short attention spans.
All
And you need to get your point across quickly. So I think it's almost like you're respecting your audience's time by being concise and straightforward.
I love that. Respect their time.
Yeah.
And to help with that, there's also the visual cues we can use.
Yeah.
Right? Things like bullet points,
Absolutely.
subheadings, even just breaking up long blocks of text can make a difference.
Absolutely.
And then another thing that I think is a key concept here is this: the distinction between features and benefits that Bly dives into.
Yes.
It can be so easy to just stay on the surface, right?
Right.
But you have to explain what it does for the customer.
Exactly. It's about tapping into those desires and motivations. Right.
Right.
What problem are you solving for them?
Exactly. He uses this great example. Let's say you're trying to sell a new productivity app.
Okay.
A feature might be that it has a built-in calendar. Okay.
Right.
But the benefit is you finally feeling on top of your schedule,
Yeah.
stress-free, ready to tackle your to-do list.
Exactly. You're selling the feeling.
Exactly. And to get to that point, you have to do the prep work, right?
Yes.
The research.
Yes, absolutely. You can't just jump in and expect amazing copy to just flow out, right?
Right.
You need a solid foundation.
Research is key.
Yes.
Understanding your audience, their pain points, their aspirations.
Yes.
The more you know, the more persuasive you can be.
I completely agree.
Imagine you're writing a website for, let's say, a local bakery.
Okay.
Would you use the same language and tone if you were writing for, I don't know, a tech startup?
No, not a chance.
Not at all. And that's what's so great about Bly's approach. It's all about tailoring that message to your specific audience.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so relevant for anybody, right? Because no matter what you're writing, you have to be thinking about who you're writing to.
Exactly. Now, when it comes to actually putting pen to paper, so to speak. Bly gives you this whole toolkit for different writing formats.
Yes, he does.
Print ads, direct mail, websites, you name it. Instead of listing them all, let's dive into a couple that I think might be especially relevant. First up, direct mail. I know. You might think it's a bit old school, but Bly argues that it can be incredibly effective if you do it right.
Right.
He talks about personalization.
Yes.
Making the recipient feel like the message was written just for them.
It's about cutting through the noise, all the clutter of the digital world.
Yeah.
Imagine receiving a handwritten note in the mail.
Yeah.
It immediately grabs your attention, right?
Yeah.
Something different.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah. And then, of course, he suggests sweetening the deal with a compelling offer, right? Maybe it's a limited time discount.
Right.
Maybe it's a free gift. It's all about making people feel valued.
That's such a great point, because it's not just about like shoving a flyer in someone's mailbox.
Right.
It's about creating an experience.
Yeah, it's an experience.
All right, so direct mail, check. Now onto another format that's obviously huge these days, online ads.
Yes.
So Bly emphasizes the importance of concise, attention-grabbing headlines, clear calls to action, because you literally have seconds to make an impression.
And this is where data comes back into play.
Right.
Because he highlights the need to leverage pay-per-click advertising strategically, right? You've got to choose your keyword carefully.
Yes.
Make sure your budget aligns with your profit margins.
Yeah.
It's about being smart and efficient.
So it's not just about writing a catchy ad. It's about understanding the technical side.
Exactly. Bly really dives into the importance of design in making that copy even more effective.
Right.
So, using visuals to actually showcase your product's benefits, making sure that your descriptions are concise and easy to read.
Okay.
Using high-quality images, it's really about enhancing your message with the visuals.
So it's about creating this harmonious blend of words and images that work together. Tell that compelling story. It's like those before and after photos you see in ads.
Oh, yeah.
They really drive home the point.
Yeah, visuals can be incredibly powerful, especially when combined with well-crafted copy.
Totally.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about another format that Bly covers, commercials, for television and radio.
Commercials, you've got, what, like a few seconds to grab someone's attention?
Right.
And leave that lasting impression.
Right. It's a whole different ballgame. And he breaks it down beautifully. He talks about the importance of clarity, impact, focusing on clear product demonstrations, highlighting those benefits in a way that's memorable and engaging.
Yeah. I mean, think of those jingles that get stuck in your head for days.
Exactly. So much thought goes into crafting those short bursts of advertising.
Right. And, he talks about choosing the right format for your product and your target audience.
Right.
Whether it's, I don't know, you could use humor, drama, storytelling.
There's so many options.
It's
about finding the right emotional hook.
Right.
To connect with your audience.
Totally. And speaking of connecting with your audience, there's a whole chapter in here about writing for social media.
Ah, yes, social media, the wild, wild west.
How do you even begin to write for that?
Well, Bly provides some helpful guidelines. He emphasizes, first of all, tailoring your posts to each platform.
Right.
What works on Twitter might not work on Instagram. What works on Facebook might not work on TikTok, so you have to be really aware of those nuances.
You need to know the platform.
Yes.
You need to know who you're talking to and how they like to be talked to.
Exactly. And then he also stresses the importance of captivating headlines.
Okay.
Keeping your text short and sweet. Think bite-sized content.
Oh, yeah.
That delivers value quickly.
Totally.
And of course, you need to make it crystal clear what you want people to do after reading your post.
Right.
Do you want them to follow you? Do you want them to visit your website? Do you want them to share it with their friends?
Right.
A clear call to action is crucial.
So social media, it's all about strategy. It's about intentionality.
Yes.
It's about being engaging, informative, but still having that goal in mind.
Exactly. You nailed it.
And this ties back to something we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
About building an email list.
Ah, the email list. You might think it's a bit old school.
Right.
But Bly argues that it's more important than ever in today's world.
Yeah, because social media, you get that reach, but you're at the mercy of those algorithms.
Right, exactly. An email list is a direct line to the people that are truly interested.
Right. You own that list.
You own it.
You're not hoping that the algorithm shows it to people.
Exactly. And he offers some great advice on growing that list.
Okay.
like offering valuable lead magnets, right?
Right.
So maybe it's a free ebook, a checklist, a webinar,
Okay.
things that provide real value to your audience in exchange for their email address.
It's like you're giving them a reason to want to stay connected.
Exactly. And then once you have that email list, you can nurture those relationships
Right.
by providing valuable content, maybe offering exclusive deals,
Sure.
just generally keeping your audience engaged.
It sounds like email marketing is all about playing the long game.
Yes.
It's building that trust, building loyalty over time.
It is. It's like tending a garden,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
You plant those seeds, you nurture them, and eventually you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
And hopefully delicious baked goods.
There you go. Exactly.
Okay, so now speaking of online spaces, Bly also dives deep into the world of websites,
Yes.
which are basically the virtual storefronts for businesses these days.
They are. Your website is your digital home.
Right, and so they need to be visually appealing,
Yeah.
easy to navigate,
Yes.
but the copy, just as important.
Absolutely. He stresses clear, concise, easy to read copy for websites.
Okay.
So he talks about using strong headlines,
Okay.
bullet points, subheadings, really breaking up that text, making it more digestible.
So you're structuring the content in a way that it's easy for someone to just kind of
Yes.
scan through and be like, okay, boom, boom. stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. And he also emphasizes the importance of using keywords strategically
Right,
so that your website shows up in search results.
right.
When people are looking for information related to your business.
SEO.
SEO, yes, it's a whole other beast, but it's crucial for getting your website noticed.
Right.
So it's about writing for both humans and search engines.
Okay.
You want your copy to be engaging and informative for your readers, but you also need to make sure it's optimized for search engines so people can actually find your website.
It's like finding that sweet spot where creativity meets the strategy.
You got it. And he gives some great advice on striking that balance.
Okay.
Like using keywords naturally in your copy, making sure your website's mobile friendly.
Right.
These are all important considerations.
It's amazing how much thought goes into crafting a good website.
It is.
Right.
It's a lot more than just pretty words.
Right.
It's really understanding how people interact with those websites and how search engines work.
The whole science.
It is.
It's fast.
And speaking of online marketing, Bly also has a whole chapter on writing for landing pages.
Oh, yes. Landing pages.
Which are those essentially like standalone web pages designed to just like convert? They are their laser focus.
What, like sales pages?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And he emphasizes the importance of using strong headlines,
Okay.
compelling visuals, clear calls to action on those landing pages.
Okay.
He also talks about building trust by including testimonials
Oh, okay.
and guarantees.
So it's all about creating this page that's
Yes.
laser focused on getting the visitor to take that action,
that specific action.
whether it's signing up for your email list,
Yes.
downloading a PDF,
Yeah,
making a purchase.
absolutely.
And this all ties back to what we talked about earlier,
Yes.
understanding your audience.
Knowing your audience.
It's not enough to just have a great product,
Right.
a great service.
You have to be able to communicate its value
You have to know how to talk about it in a way
to the right people.
that makes them want it. Yeah.
And that's why he emphasizes doing your research,
Right.
really understanding those pain points.
Right. Put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
What are they going through? What are their challenges?
What are their aspirations? How can your product or service help them achieve those?
Right. It's all about making that emotional connection.
Exactly. And this leads us to another key concept that Bly dives into, the distinction between features and benefits.
Right. And we've touched on this
We have.
a little bit.
But it's worth revisiting.
And just to kind of recap, features are what your product or service is.
Yes.
Benefits are what it does.
What it does for the customer.
Yes. Yes. It's about focusing on that value,
The value.
how it solves their problem, how it makes their life better.
Exactly. For example, if you're selling a new smartphone,
Okay.
a feature might be that it has a 50 megapixel camera,
Okay.
but the benefit is that you can capture stunning, high-quality photos of your loved ones and preserve those precious memories forever.
Right. You're not selling the camera.
You're not selling the camera, you're selling the memories,
You're selling the experience.
the feeling, the emotion.
Yes, and this all ties into another powerful tool that Bly discusses, storytelling.
Oh, I love a good story.
Me too.
And Bly argues that stories are a powerful way to connect with your audience on an emotional level and make your message more memorable.
Okay, so it's not just about throwing facts and figures at people.
Right.
It's about weaving those facts and figures into a compelling narrative that resonates with them.
That they can connect with, that they can remember.
Yeah, think about it. What's more engaging?
Right.
A list of product features.
Right.
Or a story about how that product helps someone achieve their dreams.
The story every time.
Yeah.
Because it's relatable. It's human.
Right. And speaking of making things relatable, Bly has a whole chapter on writing for public relations.
Public relations, that can sound a bit intimidating.
I know, it's like press releases, media outreach.
He breaks it down beautifully.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of understanding your audience, right?
Okay.
Are you writing for journalists, potential investors, or the general public?
So tailoring the message.
Yes, tailoring it to that specific audience.
Right.
And he also stresses focusing on news and information
Okay.
rather than just blatant self-promotion.
So it's about adding value.
Adding value, establishing yourself as a credible source of information.
Right.
Building trust over time.
It's about joining the conversation
Yes.
and offering something instead of just like...
Shouting about your brand.
Right, right. And speaking of adding value,
Yes.
this brings us to the world of content marketing.
Oh, content marketing. It's all the rage these days.
It is. It's everywhere.
And for good reason.
Right.
It's about attracting and engaging potential customers by creating valuable free content
Go ahead.
that addresses their needs and interests.
Okay.
He calls these pieces of content lead magnets.
Okay. Lead magnets. I like that. What are those?
So think ebooks, white papers, webinars, checklists,
Okay.
things that provide real value to your audience and entice them to give you their contact information
Okay.
in exchange.
So you're giving away valuable information
Yes.
to build that relationship, to build trust.
And once you've created those amazing pieces of content, Bly emphasizes the importance of promoting them strategically,
Okay.
using various media and tactics.
Yeah.
You've got to get that content in front of the right people.
So content marketing is about more than just the writing.
It's more than just creating the content. It's about distribution.
Okay. So I guess that brings us to a very important question.
Yes.
How do you actually get all this copy written?
Right, because it's one thing to learn about the principles.
Right.
It's another thing to actually put them into practice.
So he offers some practical advice here. He suggests, first of all, assessing your own expertise and time constraints. Can you handle the writing yourself?
Right.
Or would it be more efficient to outsource it to a professional copywriter?
Right, because sometimes it just makes more sense to bring in an expert.
Absolutely. If you're not a strong writer, if you don't have the time.
Right, or if you just, you don't enjoy doing it.
Exactly. There's no shame in bringing in a professional.
And if you do decide to work with a copywriter, Bly stresses the importance of fostering a collaborative and respectful relationship.
Absolutely. It's a partnership.
Right.
Provide clear direction, pay fairly and promptly,
Right.
offer constructive feedback. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, that open communication and that mutual respect, it's so key for any kind of...
For any successful collaboration.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about what happens after you have your copy written. He also dives into the importance of design and production. Because remember, while words are powerful,
Yeah.
visuals can really enhance your message and make it even more impactful.
Right.
And he reiterates this importance of creating copy that can stand alone,
Okay.
but is elevated by visuals.
Okay, so finding those designers who understand clear communication
Yes.
and can create those layouts that are visually appealing but
Yeah.
don't distract from the message.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance.
Right, and be open to feedback from the designer.
Absolutely.
It's a collaborative process.
It is.
And it reminds me of something else we've been touching on a lot today, which is the importance of understanding your audience.
Yes.
You need to know who you're trying to reach
Right.
in order to create copy, to create design that's actually going to connect with them.
And he stresses that you shouldn't just be thinking about demographics like age or location.
Right.
You need to understand their psychographics, their values,
Oh, okay.
their beliefs, their aspirations, even the context in which they'll be encountering your copy matters.
So it's really like putting yourself in their shoes and really trying to understand their world.
Yeah.
What are their pain points? What makes them tick?
It's all about empathy,
Yeah.
really understanding your audience on a deeper level. It's understanding human psychology
Yeah.
and the art of persuasion.
Right. And this book.
It really is a masterclass in influence and communication.
Right. And those are skills that are valuable in any field, not just marketing.
Absolutely.
So whether you're writing a business proposal, a blog post, or even just an email to a friend.
the principles in this book can help you communicate more effectively.
One of my favorite quotes, I think, from this book is, Bly says, the best copywriters are lifelong learners.
I love that quote.
Right. It's about constantly seeking out new knowledge, honing your craft, never being afraid to experiment.
Absolutely. That's something we can all aspire to,
Totally.
no matter what our field. I have to say, I'm ready to just rewrite all my writing. Like after this, I feel so inspired.
I know. I feel the same way. It's full of these like aha moments.
Yes.
That just make you rethink how you approach communication.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's amazing how these principles that he wrote, however many decades ago,
Right.
still they hold up today,
They do.
And one thing I keep coming back to is this emphasis on testing.
Yes.
Such a big believer in treating your copy like a science experiment. He really hammers home the point that you shouldn't just assume you know what's going to work best.
Right.
Test different headlines,
Yeah.
test different calls to action, test different paragraphs even.
Yeah, see what works.
See what resonates, what gets people clicking, what gets people buying.
Right, because the data doesn't lie. Instead of just going with your gut,
Right, exactly.
you're using information to make those decisions.
Informed decisions.
And constantly improving.
It takes the guesswork out of it.
And this data-driven approach, it's even more important now that we have all these digital tools.
Oh, absolutely.
You can track click-through rates, you can track conversion rates.
Yeah, all sorts of metrics to really see what's working.
So, okay, you've written your amazing copy, you've
Mhm.
tested it, it's converting like crazy.
Right.
What about the visual side of things?
Okay.
Like, how do you make sure that your design and production really complement the words?
Well, he dedicates a whole section to this. And, he's a big advocate for simplicity and readability.
Okay.
So find designers who understand clear communication
Right.
and can create layouts that are visually appealing but don't distract from the message.
So it's about finding that balance again.
Yeah.
Right?
Always finding that balance.
Between creativity and strategy.
Exactly.
And be open to feedback, right?
Absolutely.
From the designer.
It's a collaboration.
It's a team effort.
Yes.
It reminds me of something else that we keep touching on, which is
Yeah.
that understanding your audience.
Knowing your audience.
You need to know who you're trying to reach.
Yes.
In order to create that copy, in order to create that design, that's actually going to connect.
And he stresses that you shouldn't just be thinking about demographics like age or location.
Right.
You need to understand their psychographics, their values, their beliefs, their aspirations.
Let's go why.
Their why, exactly. Even the context in which they'll be encountering your copy matters.
So really putting yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
What are they feeling? What are their pain points?
What makes them tick? It's all about empathy.
Yes. And I think that's a great place to leave it.
Remember, these principles can be applied to any type of writing, whether it's marketing materials, business documents, or even just personal emails.
The key takeaway, I think, is keep learning, keep experimenting, keep those words flowing.
Keep writing.
Keep writing. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
Thanks for tuning in to Sam's Summaries. If you found this episode useful, let us know with a like, follow, and share. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to visit samfury.com to get free access to all of Sam's original summaries. You can also get any of Sam's books and other exclusive content. It's all completely free at samfury.com.